Hello, it's Dawn Michelle from Boho Tarot, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle by Lorraine Anderson, Juliet Diaz, with illustrations by Giada Rose and published by Rockpool Publishing. The Seasons of the Witch Oracle is a beautifully designed and illustrated book and 44 card deck set that connects you to the spirit realm to bring healing, understanding, protection, and guidance. It includes original poetry from Juliet Diaz that works as invocations for magic and ritual, and intuitive guidance from Lorraine Anderson that will take you through your personal readings. The beautiful artwork of Giada Rose will transport you to new worlds. This deck invites you to experience the magic and eclectic energies of Samhain all year long. So this little deck is a gorgeous size. I just have to say, like right off the bat, I mean, I love Rockpool decks. I have many of them, but they usually come in those bigger boxes. They have their bigger guidebooks, which is actually really nice. So I'm curious to see how this guidebook is in comparison to their absolutely beautiful larger guidebooks that they usually have. But I do really like that this deck comes in a smaller box. It's a little bit easier to store, a little bit easier to transport if you want to take it places with you. It's a beautiful box with a matte finish. Here's the front of it, gorgeous little illustrations, has little pops of red, and the gorgeous back. So let's go ahead and take a look inside. Look, when you pull it up, that's kind of cool. We have a moon on the inside of the box. Gorgeous. And full disclosure, I have opened this, but I have not looked through it yet. So we have a little guidebook here that, is quite a chunky little guidebook. That's nice. We'll take a look at that at the end because I always like to jump into the cards first. So we begin with All Hallows Eve. Call upon the voices that stir your senses through the night. Cast an unforgiven howl as you stomp your might through the ground. Beautiful. Altar. A sacred devotion, a worship skin deep rising from the ash, the waters you keep. Ancestors. They hiss a quivering so deep only roots of your soil can lift the nakedness hidden within the vows made in silence. An ancient chill walking upon the spine. Apples. To taste one must swallow it whole, and beneath the satin flame hides drowning waters. Banshee, heed my warning, dear child, for what I hold is far from unsung lullabies. Swallow a nail and you can expect bleeding from within. Bat, evoke thy power and fear not the hidden. What lurks is coming with undenying change. Black cat, there's a curious journey into the depths of the unknown, hidden so deep that only the brave will gracefully return it with light in their eyes and shadow leading home. Broom. What dreams may come from what you seek, make room, make way, a clearing need be. Candle magic. Speak your breath into its velvet, recite along its spine all that you desire, all that which will unravel. Cauldron. Bewitching, yes it be, bleak and you shall see, a bubbling desire left in the brewing rain. Coming of winter, it comes in lullabies deep within your mirrored flesh. Alas, it is time to lay your quivering chest upon the winter's coming. Crystals and herbs. Oh, what medicine, what sacredness to behold, a dash of healing straight from mother's home. Dark moon. In the dark of your heart lives new breath, waiting for you to release its ghost. Divination. Take a breath, take it twice. Insightful reflections are guided by light. Elders. Birthed from seed within the belly of the moon, they are the wise felt touches over our hearts and felt deep within the marrow of our spirit. Elements. Remember to feel the warmth pulsing through her womb. You are a child of mother, true harmony awaits you. Frog. May the lily beneath your breasts allow you to drink from its healing waters. Be still, for there is serenity behind the drowning croaks. Graveyard. There is a song that bellows in the peace of knowing no end, in acknowledging the crossroads of eternity. Greet the darkness. Here where the spine bends and the mouth quivers, breathes the hidden, the pieces that make you whole but cut deep with all their sharp edges. Grief. It is but a mere glimpse of nothingness hidden away deep within the chambers of your mourning, in the red clovers birthing lost illusion. Haunted. The breaking of the floor beneath your naked feet, the creaking of the walls as the cold kisses flesh. You are never really alone in the company of hauntings within bone. Healer. Listen as the medicine bleeds through her teeth, a river of mercy blessed by Mother, seen only by those who hold her mirror. Intuition. You hold the answers, you know the truths. Ancient ones await behind the doors of the mind. Journey. Daughters of our Mother, walkers of the unknown, take with you on this journey all that you hone. Mischief. Keep your eyelids open and sight sharp as nails, for there is something trailing behind your tail. Nature spirits. On your toes, twirl and twirl until you're ready to take flight. They arrive in the winds beneath your wings and speak through the swaying of the trees. Owl. Behold sight, O ancient ones, for there is magic in the darkest of places if one dares to open their eyes. Potions and spells. A pinch of this, a dash of that. Be sure you're sure before you call. Protection. This is my house, stained by the very blood flowing through its walls, covered in a veil of delicious prayers, yet deadly to those who dare lift its hidden. Pumpkin, uncaging the spirit within thou, the fertile power you hold. To taste your buttery velvet upon tongue is a gift I shall cherish each day that comes. Rebirth. There's death in all that awakens, for it isn't blissful nor painless. It's a mighty rising, O flame resurrected. Reflection. Be wary of the things you believe to see with eyes wide shut, for they are mirrors of the mad and truths only spoken with a bleeding tongue. Ritual. Can you feel them? Wild creatures linked by the very blood you will spill into your craft. A ritual of dedication to self and those whose gazes hold fire, but whose whispers carry you softly through the unknown. Rooted. May you never tear the living ritual that is magic merged within the roots of your being, the soil of your soul. Seduction. Hear the roaring flames with the masterful trance that calls upon heaving chest. Give in to its alluring grip, if you please, but heed my warning of the claws that draw blood without mercy. Silence. There is a sweet embrace in the nothingness stillness brings, a presence of self fully embodied. Spider. What a wild web we weave, dear child, a delicious mystery untamed. Third harvest. Daughters of the woods, feel thy sacred swell with suppleness. Taste the gathering of honey's milk filling your emptiness. Transformation. Like 1,000 storms held in hands soft against the winds, there is change arising from deep within. The underworld. Hand over your known, a shift is near. Take a leap, your journey is clear. The veil. It's quite possible your eyes have become the fog in which you dwell, a half-swallowed glimpse of all that you truly are or can be, that the tears you bleed are ready for the storms to turn the skies inward. Voices. With a tug at the gut, feel them romance your very breath. Listen to the gentle flickering within your eyes, for this is where they guide. Witch. Grab hold Allow the dwelling fire within belly awaken all that is. A mere glimpse, a delicate pull at the very roots living in the alchemy of self. Wolf. Devour the ferocious calling within the howling of your spirit. Run wildly into the freedom of your knowing. So now that we've had a chance to look at all of the cards, let's talk about the deck itself. It has these really gorgeous backs to it. They're actually reversible, which we don't usually see in an oracle, and is nice if you do happen to read reversals. They have pretty much your standard Rockpool cardstock, which is, of course, on the glossy side, but it's got a nice heft to it, but is still really shuffleable, which is super important to me. I love a deck that I can shuffle. They have done some gilding on the edges this time, so it has this shiny red gilding on it. Now, if you've watched my channel, you know I'm not like really a super fan of gilded decks, but there are some exceptions to the rule for me. This might be one of them because I think the red gilding just really does work really well with this particular deck. So being that this is an oracle, it's a little bit smaller just because there's less cards. I should say it's less thick than like a tarot deck, so I'm not really having any trouble shuffling it. And I mean, you know, I'm not really a fan of gilding, but it's a little stunning on this deck. I think I kind of like it. Shuffles really beautifully. So now let's go ahead and maybe pull a card and take a look at the guidebook. So we have elements. That's beautiful. I do quite like the artwork in this deck. I think it's really pretty. So here is the little guidebook, and of course it is a little one, same size as the deck, which, you know, is nice, really. I do like that because it means that I can keep the guidebook with the deck, and that's always great. So we have the title page, lovely design. Rockpool books are always really wonderful. They have really great book designers there at Rockpool. Here we have the contents. We have a little bit about the authors, the illustrators, acknowledgments, introduction, about the cards, spreads, and then we have the descriptions for each of the cards themselves, and it looks like they do go in alphabetical order, and they are numbered. So that is really nice. So you can look it up not only by the number, but by the alphabetically. So that's really handy. Lovely little touches in this book. I love that we have some of the artwork included. Just gorgeous. So we have about the authors, about the illustrator, some acknowledgments. Look how pretty that is. I love it. I love books that look like this. I'm kind of a sucker for them. Gorgeous introduction. Maybe we'll just read a little bit of the introduction here just so you can get an idea of the deck. Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle is a first stop on a long journey ahead. We intend to write a deck for every Sabbath. Oh, so looking forward to that. Juliet and I take our seasonal practice very seriously. Okay, I just have to stop for a minute and say that really thrills me to no end because my practice is very seasonal too. So I'm really excited to see what decks they come out for every season. That's really exciting. Okay, back to what I was doing. So Juliet and I take our seasonal practice very seriously and feel that there aren't enough resources available to help witches work with the energy of each Sabbath. This series of decks is crafted to introduce and familiarize you with the various powers available during each holiday of the wise. There are many layers of beauty, magic, and healing that can be found in each season, and you can discover these energies more deeply and in a playful way. So that is really exciting. They talk more about where they come from in their history and the beautiful artwork that the artist has contributed as well. So really lovely. I'm like super excited. I didn't know it was just going to be one of many seasonal decks, so that's actually really exciting. So let's talk a little bit about the cards. It says the cards are broken up into 3 sections: the Witch's Familiar, the Witch's Tools, and the Samhain, and are arranged in alphabetical order to make finding your cards quick and easy, which we always appreciate. Thank you very much. We have also included a number of reading spells made specifically for this deck, although you can certainly use them with any other cards. That's wonderful too. Each card includes an original poem that you can use. And then it also talks about working with reversals, which is something that I don't do, but if you do, they do have some information about that. And it says, finally, you will find that many cards contain additional information and some spells. So that's really interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how that works out. I don't have what I would consider a traditional witchy practice, but I do definitely incorporate seasonal energy into my practice and into my reading. So I'm really excited to see what is in store for that. So we have a couple of spreads that they've included, a basic 3-card spread with different variations on the 3-card spread. You know, past, present, and future, mind, body, spirit, embrace, continue, release. That's one I pretty much use all the time. Then we have an interview your deck spread. That's kind of interesting. A lot of us do deck interview spreads, but I don't know that I've ever actually seen one in a book before, like in a guidebook. That's really interesting. Graveyard spread. Ooh, that one, I think I want to try that one. It says it's a transitional spread. That's really cool. Wow, lots of spreads. The spiritual council, connecting with my guides. Reclaiming my power, a spread for embracing personal power. Lots of spreads. Look at that. That's exciting. The rotten apple spread, a protection spread. The transformation spread, a spread for allowing change. Ooh, look at all the spreads. It just keeps going. That's exciting. Weekly outlook spread, guidance for the week ahead. Oh, that's an interesting one. I'm always looking for a good week ahead spread. The Witch's Tools spread, a spread for wisdom. The Moon Phase spread, a manifestation spread. The Shadow spread, a spread for loving your darkness. That's pretty cool. The Healer spread, a spread for embracing your path. Coming of Winter spread, a spread for rest and reflection. And the Athame spread, a spread for cutting cords. Wow, that is a lot of spreads. I think that's the most spreads I've ever seen in a guidebook before. 13, not counting the 3 cards. So 13 unique spreads included in this guidebook. That's pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited about that. Definitely going to have to give probably all of those a try because I love spreads. So then we go into the oracle cards themselves. And we have a nice color picture of the oracle card, it looks like. I mean, this is kind of not a lot of color in this deck anyway, but it's beautiful. Definitely enough that you can see the detail. We have keywords, and we also have the little like meaning here that's on the card itself. And then it looks like we have more information about the card. And then a reversed meaning, which again, you don't often see in an oracle deck, but that's really interesting. So let's just kind of flip ahead. I mean, look, full color, beautiful. The text in the back might be a little bit hard, might make it a little hard for some people to read that. And the text is a little bit on the small side, but it's still totally readable. But just, you know, in giving a fair assessment. So then that's the end, is the cards. Okay, so let's look up elements, because now I'd like to see what they have to say in the guidebook. And can we move things around here so we can actually see? So elements. So keywords are Mother Earth and harmony. And on the card it says, remember to feel the warmth pulsing through her womb. You are a child of Mother. True harmony awaits you. So the write-up says, do you feel the heat of the fire, the dampness of the water, the whip of the wind, and the weight of the earth? Imagine being Mother Earth dealing with all the elements. Somehow she manages to find harmony. The Elements card represents harmony and the need to make room for all energies by allowing yourself to be present. For example, if you feel sad, sit in the sadness and ask your sorrow what it needs to know. The same applies for the different emotions that come up for you. You are being guided to find harmony despite the various storms blowing your way. There is a reason for every symbolic storm, every quake, every fire, and every mudslide. You may not see the reasons behind these events. Nevertheless, these occurrences are happening so that you can release this energy, making way for healing to take place. Each season in your life must have time with you. You must allow the abundance and bountiful color of spring and the creativity and illumination of summer. You must also allow the releasing and shedding of fall. Things must fall away once they've served their purpose. And don't forget the quiet hibernation of winter. Don't fight against your seasons, flow with them, embracing each one for the gift offered. And then it has, of course, the reverse meaning. So that's a really beautiful write-up. I'm curious, it said something about spells. Oh, here's one. Let's just look and see, like, so here we have crystals, herbs. Okay, so they're in relation to the cards themselves. So for the crystals and herbs, we have crystals for Samhain and herbs for Samhain. So that's really interesting. I was just kind of trying to peek through here and see if I could catch anything else that... So here's other forms of divination to try. So for the divination card, we have other forms of divination to try. It talks about like candle reading and dreams. So there is little things that you can pull into, say, your rituals or your readings that you can find incorporated throughout the guidebook in conjunction with these certain cards. So lovely little guidebook. I've kind of bent it up already, but I could definitely see that while I think there is plenty to work with on the cards themselves in terms of the gorgeous artwork, the keyword, and the little write-up on the card itself, I think there's plenty there to dive into, but I think working with it in terms of the guidebook and reading what's written in here would also just add this whole other layer to your reading. So I definitely want to give that a try. I definitely want to try working with it in terms of the guidebook. I do tend to work with my oracles a bit more intuitively than that, with really the exception of my Rockpool decks, because my Rockpool decks tend to be the ones that I end up going to the guidebook more often than any other oracle decks. I really appreciate guidebooks that are really an expansion of the decks themselves, that really help you to hone in and to really dive deep into each of the cards. And it gives you a lot more to sink into, although I think that these cards are definitely could be read just based on what's on them. I'm looking forward to working with them in terms of the book as well. So that is a look at the Season of Witches Samhain Oracle. I love the muted color palette. It's just gorgeous. It definitely has that Samhain feel to it. I could definitely see this being a deck that I turn to in the fall for sure. But I think that it could be one that you could use year round, because you could pull in that energy, that Samhain energy throughout the year. Life tends to go in cycles, and so we tend to have those sort of almost seasonal energies that cycle throughout each season as well. We have those times of abundance, we have those times of scarcity, we have those times of growth, and we have those times of decay. And that happens on a cycle all throughout each of the seasons. So I could definitely see how you could tap into this deck throughout the year for sure, but I think it's definitely one that is very much geared toward working with this time of year, and I am really excited to dive deep into it. The write-ups on the cards are really fantastic. Sometimes I'm really like not on board with what gets written on an oracle card, because sometimes I feel like it really locks you into one interpretation or the other. But in this particular deck and the way that it is written, I really feel like it's just this springboard for your own interpretations, for your own meanings and insights to come through. It's like beautiful poetry, and it just allows you to kind of tap into that flow of the words, flow of the energy, flow of the season, and really lend your own, that's funny, I was just going to say the word voice, really lend your own voice to it as well. So I think this is going to be a really beautiful addition to my fall collection. If you've watched my channel before, you've seen some of my other videos, you know, I definitely work with my decks seasonally. So to have a deck that is specifically geared towards the season is really wonderful. I'm super excited about there being more decks along the same lines for each of the seasons. I cannot wait to have each of those, and I'm really looking forward to working with them. Thank you for joining me today. You will find links for the decks featured here in the description box below. I hope you enjoyed this video and will join me again soon for more creative tarot for an inspired life.